What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. You guys know I like to start with a positive quote for every episode. And this episode is brought to you by, I've just added candles to our collection, guys, and they were a hit at my pop-up, just so y'all know. And I'm not going to go with candles. With that line, I'm not going to go with HERR.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a different name. It's going to be by HERR, but
like aromas by HERR.
No, hold on, babe. Sorry, y'all. Did I just totally scream in y'all's ear while y'all are listening? Like, so it's totally a French name.
Let's keep this in the podcast. We'll keep
How do you say house again?
I don't know if it's La Maison or La Maison. I think it's
La Maison.
La Maison.
Okay, let me Google that. La Maison. Okay,
La
gracias,
Maison.
tío Juven.
Thank you.
House in French. Google house in French.
So I kind of wanted like La Casa Rosa, right? But then I thought, but La Maison is like way better. But I would need to learn how to even pronounce the name before I could name my candle line that.
Okay, La Maison. It literally looks like La Mansion.
Yeah, that's where they got the word from.
Ah.
Yeah. So that's what I think that line is going to be called. And we may be having some scrubs.
Interesting.
Don and I are talking. My biologist and I are talking.
She is a biologist.
I know. That's why I said my biologist and I are talking. I saw this quote and I really liked it. And I just really kind of like, the more you like yourself, the less you are like anyone else, which makes you unique.
Say that again?
The more you like yourself, the less you are like anyone else, which makes you unique.
Oh yeah, I like myself a lot. So
Me too.
That's
I do.
Unique.
I hate to say that. Like that's like anybody listen like, ew, turn off. Like
Self-centered.
Yeah. But I saw it and I said, because I feel like I've always loved myself, but I think as I've grown and matured and you know, you kind of have a little bit more of experience under your belt and so forth, I feel like I like myself more and more as I get older, right?
Yeah.
Because if I think about my past, like young me, I'm like, oof, why were you doing that even?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
Even
You're proud of yourself,
even though I
basically.
was like, I was happy for me, right? Like I was like, at that time, in that stage or that era in my life, I didn't feel like it was like ew. But when you go back and think about it, it's kind of like ew, right?
Right. It's like, oh, cringe. Like cringe is the word right now. Like that's what you think of.
Yeah, for sure. And so I saw that quote and I was like, that's so true. I mean, I think everyone is unique in general, right? Because I think we're all kind of characters in some way or form in life, right? But I don't know why I saw that quote and I just thought like, yes. And then I went down and then it was coincidentally, shout out to everybody, first of all, that came out to this weekend's Amigas Forever and Ever, Galentine's Day pop-up, on Navigation. Shout out to Asanet. Shout out to, oh my gosh. Sadly, I don't know her name. I only know her username. LY Collusions.
That's how many people you met. That's good.
No, well, that's sad because same thing with Kathy. I remember if you tell me, oh, I'm KB, blah, blah, blah. KB, I forgot what her thing is, but I know who she is by KB. So like, even on, like I have her number saved and it's under her Patreon name. I know it's awful, but it really is that. So, anyhow,
Big success, it sounds like.
Huge.
Awesome. Like
the candles did very well. And it's really crazy because I thought about what could I do because let me tell you this, even though I enjoy finding like cool, trendy apparel, I really still miss making. Does that make sense? Or designing, or like reaching out to Will and asking, saying, hey, I have this idea. Can you kind of do this with this and that, right? And now I don't want to print it on blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? So I still miss that because I haven't done that in a while. Buying retail clothes like dresses, like stuff like that is way easier because all I'm doing is basically shopping.
Right.
And
for your style, like
for my
style.
Exactly. And then I'm just going to put it out and it's going to match. I'll make sure I have like the handbag that goes with it. And I'll make sure like the whole unit is put together, right? Because that's kind of what my goal with that part of my brand, right? But again, I still miss making t-shirts and I miss making stuff. So I dropped just for these events, I dropped Asenet stopped by and was able to get one. And then Crystal saw it on the story and was DM'd me and said, can I get one, please? And so I said, sure. She has a pending order that I need to ship off. So I was like, okay, I'll throw it in there. Anyhow, it was funny because at first they weren't a hit, right? At first they weren't selling. And I was like, gosh, I really think these are really cute because it's simple. So I got the HERR apparel design done in a heart, but it's the HERR is scripted in the heart. Mm-hmm. So it's like a whole design together, right? And all I did was put heart patches on the elbows. You don't have to only wear it for Valentine's Day. Does that make sense? Right, yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a shirt that you can be like, oh, I feel like wearing this today because it's chilly and, you know, whatever. And I really thought they were super cute. And then at first, no one was really like buying them. And then all of a sudden, this lady walks by and says, hey, where'd you get your crew neck? And I was like, it's right there. Like, I'm not sure. Am I not displaying it? Like, it was in between all the rest of my stuff. Uh-huh. So I get it. But then I didn't bring enough sizes. I was trying to keep it super simple at this pop-up because it is hard. I mean, you've done pop-ups. Bruh. Guys, I'm telling you this right now. If you're a small business, markets are the way to go so that other people who don't know about you, and if you have a very small following on social media, these are great ways to do them. Even if you, like, for example, Christy, who has a charcuterie board business, they buy those there. They buy the cups that you can sell them there. They sell cookies. They sell lollipops, people that make candy. So it's really hard, though, because one, you have to gauge about how many people you don't know because they don't know. There's no tickets sold. These are markets. You're hoping people driving by or passing by will stop. I will say that Miradela and the Houston Bob, because she's part of the Houston, Texas Bob Babes or whatever, they've done a very good job. They do a very good job of promoting, but they also have a great following. So what was a really good feeling was when people saw and this is what I have to give David props for when he made the HERR apparel design was he's like, you want a unique font that when anyone sees that font, they're like, I've seen that font somewhere. And people that were coming up to me to buy stuff, they're like, wait, were you at the last Houston? I was like, yes. Like, oh yeah, I bought these glasses from you, or I bought this from you. And that was a really good feeling. But what I hate about it is that my shit's not branded when it's retailed like that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Versus the stuff that I make, it's branded, it's mine. So even if you're out and about, it says HERR apparel. Versus if you're wearing some sunglasses that you bought from, although some of mine are branded.
Yeah, the first couple batches you did, right?
Yes, they're branded. So those are branded. And listen, I know that I can go to China and get some legit, but the problem is that I don't like just one style, and that's kind of how it is when you order custom stuff. You order an X amount of one style, or they'll give you an option of two, and it's just kind of like, well, I don't like just two. I like that design. You see what I'm saying? So that's always what's hard. That's why for me, I'd rather brand the case, which is what I do, and then,
yeah.
But they're really hard to do because you have to unload. You have to set up your tent. You have to make, like, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I like for my place to look like a little store you're shopping at. So like I have fixtures. I have like stuff that makes it look like you're shopping at a store, like a retail store. And so that's hard because you're coming with a lot of stuff. We're talking about a rack. We're talking about, I got boards made. I had these new board panels that got made, and so.
Did Dawn ever show you our Christmas one? Our table for the market that we did out in, I think it was Pasadena.
No,
can't remember. It was great. It was awesome. It was a great success. But again, like we went to Hobby Lobby, a couple times to get stuff, and we made like crates. We were like reverse crates and painted.
Exactly.
Got like all kinds of stuff, and it's
work.
It's work. It's worth it. Also at the end of it, but I mean, you underestimate every time how much work is going to go into, no matter the size of the market. Whether do you expect 100 people or 1,000 people, it's still going to be equal amount of work.
My sister, the first time she helped me out, she's like, I don't know why I'm tired. I was like, because this is work. You don't realize it. Like it's work. Like you're going back and forth and you're standing up. My sister always feels like I have ants in my pants. And she's like, can you sit down? She's like, why do you have to pace back and forth?
Yeah.
But me, I'm walking back and forth. And then I'm like looking like, should I have moved that? And maybe they can't see that. Okay, maybe I should put it over here. And it was funny. This girl walked up. And I was setting up, and check this out. She says, girl, don't overthink it. And I was like, oh my God, how did she know that's what I was doing? Because I literally was staring at my place. Anyways, it was funny. She wanted to take a picture because she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're real. And I was like, what?
Excuse me?
She's like, I can't believe you're real. She's like, I
haven't
listen
had
to
any
you.
plastic.
Yeah. She's like, I listen to you on my radio, so it's kind of crazy to see you in person. I was like, it's so funny when people say that to me because I guess I never really think about like,
I fucking love those compliments. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like,
me
it's
too.
the coolest shit. Like when somebody sends me like a new listener of the podcast sends me a screenshot from their car dash, the radio. I'm like, that's cool.
It's very cool, and it's a very good feeling to say I listen to you, because then that means that
It's a different connection. You're so intimate when you're in between
Exactly.
people's ears, like multiple times a week for an hour plus 2-3 hours.
it really is.
Let me ask you this: since you're talking about the pop up, do you think it's easier? Have you ever sold a service? So like when you were doing Zumba or you're doing anything else, or even your sign interpreting, but did you ever have to set up a pop up or a market or be somewhere for a company selling a service versus a product? No, it's so fucking hard to sell a service, dude.
My sister, it's funny. She's like, when we were setting up, because usually, let me tell you how it goes down. Usually, Pete helps me set up. Juan and Pete help me set up. They chunk the deuce, and then my sister just comes and helps me out, right? Usually, because we don't need 4 people. It just starts to get kind of weird. It's like, I just need the manpower, because we do need men, just so y'all know. I just need the manpower to bring it down, and then I do the rest. Like, y'all can leave after that, right? But this time my sister was helping unload, and she brought her forerunner, you know what I'm saying? And then she's like, yeah, so I do these because she does HR recruiting and all that. She's like, but all I have to do is show up. They hire a person so that the screen is playing something, and so that the banner is correctly placed wherever it is, and that the applications to whatever, the information they need, the pamphlets or whatever, are set up. So all she has to do is say yes, no, yes, right? And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till I can hire like an event planner and just be like, can you go set up my little market today? Thanks. Bye. Tell me what time I should show up. How amazing would that be?
Well, so that would be amazing, but then imagine when your market or your brand is to the point where you can choose to do those markets. Right now, it's like, oh, it's a must because they're so impactful to your brand and to the sales and to the brand awareness and all that. But at a certain point, you're going to be like, oh, people are just walking into my store, right? Ideally,
that's what I want. And I would like a Hello Kitty van.
What?
Have you ever seen the Hello Kitty tours?
No.
Oh, so the Hello Kitty van, they sell exclusive merch only on their van, right? And it's like a store.
That drives around?
It drives around.
Oh,
so it goes to different cities.
So like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
Kind of like that.
Dope.
So they'll show up, so they were in the Woodlands, and they show up and they have exclusive merch that they'll drop only when they go on this tour. So you're like waiting for these trucks to show up. You know what I'm saying? Because you want this exclusive, especially if you're like a Sanrio,
I can't wait to do that. That'd be dope.
So when Pete was like, I think we need to like figure out how we can buy a van, because it gets hard. Like, I'm borrowing my mom's truck.
Right.
And it's like,
you should have. Why don't you have a van?
I don't know why I've never.
Dude, as Dawn asked her yesterday, I was like, hey, we're randomly just driving somewhere, and I was like, hey, you ever thought about driving a minivan?
Rob, Did you talk to Pete?
No.
I want to trade in my Tahoe for a minivan.
You so should. I was trying to convince her.
I want an Odyssey.
A Honda Odyssey? Honda Odysseys are very nice. If you are on a budget, I will say the Chrysler Pacificas
My girlfriend drives that.
very nice. My brother has one.
And they're cheaper than the Honda Odyssey.
Fuck
what?
yeah.
But
Like half the
Chryslers aren't
price.
that great of a cars.
But
so.
let's that's something everybody has to sit down eventually when they look at cars and like, how long are we going to keep it? How many miles do you think we'll put on it? What are we going to get out of it? The Honda, you probably end up keeping longer. It's probably going to cost you more.
Look at my CRV.
It has a recall right now, by the way.
I know, but I don't think I saw that and I didn't see my model year.
VIN?
Yes.
Oh, it was a year. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I dodged it by
A year.
a year. I think mine's a 2015.
Yeah. But regardless, I will say that I think the value you can get in modern cars for the most part is pretty good for the price. Like usually if you get a Honda, Toyota, it's going to last you longer than a Chevy or just saying, sorry.
I know people hate that, but
I know,
yeah.
but it's just true. There's a quality control to those makers for the most part that are just on a higher level. But to think okay, if you're going to use it for the kids, all their events and your pop-ups and everything, and you're like, all right, I'm going to spend 20 grand, 25 grand max on a really well-equipped Chrysler that I'm going to keep for 5 years, let's say, or I can spend 40 plus on the Honda that'll probably last me 10, but am I going to want something bigger? Am I going to want something more features? Like how much tech is in that van and how much, it's like, it's probably double the price.
My CRV is going to make 9 years. Wait. Yeah. However long Pete and I will make 9 years.
That's not even a long time for a Honda.
I know. It's going to keep going. And that's the thing.
I don't wreck it anymore.
I've never wrecked my car.
I know you haven't.
Okay.
But anyway,
I love my Honda. So when we're leaving the house, Pete always says, which car do you want to take? I'm like, my Honda. Like all the time. I don't know why. I just love that. And I kid you not. I went to, I forgot what meeting I went to. And granted, of course, I dressed up for this meeting, right? And I think people expect for me to be driving this like luxurious mobile. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they want me to drive like the latest thing. And it's hilarious because here I go. And my Honda CRV came up from ballet. And it was like the face of these people were like, I'm like, oh, hey, so my car's here. And they just like looked at me. I'm like, shit, my shit's paid off, bro. Like I am like I have no debt. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my vehicle. So like the Tahoe, we still owe on it. But here's why I'm kind of in a pickle about it.
Okay.
Well, I've got 2 more years with this year and next year. And then it's paid off. So do I?
That's one of my guilty pleasures. I've talked to Don about it. When it comes to vehicles, I care for them way more than most people do. The driving experience, what I'm going to use it for, the functionality of it. So,
It's not functionable. My Tahoe is not.
I know, and that's what makes it more of an appealing thing to just go ahead and change it for something you'll get more use out of. But in general, and this is a bad investment across the board. We get it. Everybody knows Dave Ramsey's thoughts. Everybody knows people's thoughts about an investment, an asset over liability. Cars are total liabilities.
Totally.
Unless you have like a rare car, which you're never going to drive anyway, like why are you investing money into it? But every 5 years, like as Americans, that we're lucky to live in America, we're going to probably, make enough money to have a car note whenever you want one, even after you pay one off. Are we not going to get more than 2 or 3 cars in our lifetime? We're just going to keep every car 15 years.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like get the car you like and are going to use.
So I'll be honest with you. My girlfriends, when we all lived at home still, they would all buy name brand vehicles. Like they all had a Mercedes or a luxury vehicle. Yeah. I've never cared about a vehicle. My concern always was if my car note was over $330, I was not going to get it.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So we're talking about back in the days, guys. I don't think anybody can have a $300 car note right now.
Oh, you can, but you're not going to have any of the
like I don't even
comforts.
know what car is right now that you can have a $300 what.
That's any car. Honestly, any car under 23 grand is $300 a month, which is a lot.
Car
There's
is
a lot
that?
of cars,
really?
But no options. I mean, you're not going to have any of the sunroof, no leather. Honestly, that for Kia, they used to have the Rio, which was like no radio.
Pete's was his old Kia was
crank window cranks.
Wait, was it? No, it wasn't. It was,
but they did offer it that way.
I think it was something. He still had something that was old school. And I remember thinking like,
I don't know if they still make them. They were like $9,000 new.
And I remember he being embarrassed. And I'm like, your car's what?
Yeah.
You know what's more attractive to me is that you drive a vehicle that's paid off.
To you, but when you're out there in them streets.
I know, but to me, that was like to know that you didn't have that debt.
Yeah.
That means we got together and you didn't have a car debt and I didn't have car debt. And if that's not fucking like the most attractive thing ever, I don't know what is.
No, totally.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have college debt though, but he did.
Yeah.
So it was all good.
Trade-offs,
you know what I'm saying?
trade-offs,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
As far as the luxury thing, like you can, I don't even care about the brand necessarily. It's just like, how much is the car? Is it a lot, but it's like super useful and functional? Like, give me an example. I'll give you an example. How much do you think the Odyssey costs? A 2023 right now, Odyssey.
at least like 52.
If you want a fully loaded one, it's going to be, if it's 49 plus TTNL, you're easily at 40 or 50, mid 50s or low
And this
50s.
is, we're talking about a minivan, guys. We're not even talking about like.
But bro, have you ridden one?
So my sister was driving my sister loaned my cousin her 4Runner and they swapped and she had his Odyssey minivan. That's how I saw it. His is not even the fully loaded one.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he delivers CBD
Products?
gummies to different places.
Yeah.
So that's why he has a minivan. So he doesn't even have children, by the way. But I drove in and I was like, I feel like I can just like go like kick my foot if I feel like
Yeah.
it. Like I can just do whatever I want. And I feel so great in here. And so Pete and I have talked about it. Trust me, I've been like really debating.
What are the odds? You and I have done this a couple of
I
times.
know.
We're just like talk about the same shit with our spouses.
That's why I was like, wait, did y'all have this
No.
conversation before I came over here? Because literally I said, I don't know. I'm like, and also when Mickey has to get in, it's such a pain.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 car seats.
Yeah.
And although Sunny's is the kind that clips on because hers is a Duna, so it's a totally different deal. She always gets in through that side. Well, Sunny pretty much does not fit in her Duna. I'm like really hanging by a thread there. Here's 2 reasons. One, sadly, right? I'm going to talk about this real quick too. I have not had time to go look at a car seat to buy for her. 2, she can no longer be in the Duna. I mean, her legs are kind of hanging off now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the only reason she's still able to do it is because she's still under the weight. So,
okay, yeah.
So she's still under the weight. She's just long. Does that make sense? So she's kind of, her little feet are hanging off, but she's under the weight. Anyway, I told Pete does. And then now when she's in her car seat, her feet are like this on the seat. They're like against the seat because she's too tall for it because she's in the smaller.
Yeah.
So, but when I get the car seat, she still has to face the back. And now Mickey really can't get in through there. So sometimes Mickey has to go in through the trunk. We put one side down and she sits down and then we pull the seat back up.
Yikes.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So unless you have no car seats, because then it's easy. Because then I press the button, the seat goes up. She's able to go to the back, right? But
Yeah.
when you have car seats, you can't do that. So when I told Mickey we're going to get a minivan, she just kind of made a face. And then the other day I said, I really think we're going to do the minivan. Mickey, are you going to be embarrassed rolling in a minivan? Just like at this point, I don't care. I just want to be able to get in the car without having to go through like a whole hurdle to get in the back, you know? I mean, the Tahoe aesthetically and through the outside, it looks beautiful, right? It's a cool car.
Yeah,
You
they're
ride
cool.
it down. And I love black cars also. So like black on black. I just love black on black, you know? That's kind of what my Honda is. I got black rims for my black Honda.
It's true. Murdered.
Yeah. So I just like black on black. And so anyway, I really think it's time for a minivan though.
I like it. I'm in full support of it. And I'm looking right now as you're talking because I love looking at cars, like what they're going for. And the market's been crazy, obviously, since the lockdowns and whatnot, but it's kind of starting to like course correct a bit here. You can get a pretty damn almost top of the line because I'm looking at pre-owned. Never buy new.
I never buy new.
new. Let somebody else take the depreciation, right? Probably like mid 30s for a damn near topped off.
But is
Honda
that
Odyssey.
for, really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. With low miles
I think
too.
you just convinced me. Is that where?
I mean, you can go to Gilman. You can go to John Eagle Honda. There's a couple of them. Baytown's got
I'm
one.
trying to get a sponsor. I mean, the girl who I'm doing the pop-up for this next Friday, she drives a Volkswagen because she's sponsored by them.
Oh, word.
So they,
I'd love
I
a
guess
Volkswagen sponsor.
They lease. She gets the vehicle leased to her but she gets to roll in it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think you could work something out
and
like that.
and she gets a new one every time because obviously they want for her to be promoting the newest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she rides what she calls mom-mobiles, but they're really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an SUV. It's a cute SUV too. So, you know.
Oh, dude, I've had my car in the shop for some warranty work a couple times.
Oh, I saw that.
I have another one. I have a Passat right now. But I've driven all their SUVs. I love Volkswagen SUVs.
But your car's always, I feel like since you got it, it's always in the shop for something.
It's been twice. It's all warranty work. Like the previous owner never went and took care of like the window switches on one side didn't work. Right now my sunroof like it's got an issue. It's nothing mechanical. It's just like creature comforts. And I only have so much warranty left on the car, so I'm just having them do
Doing
it
it all.
And it takes forever. Like I got to get it approved through like Volkswagen in Europe or some shit, and then it's like a long ass process, and they're fucking always behind. Like they don't have enough techs, and you know they're just like supply chains. I'm still getting the supply chain issue from dealerships and stuff. It's just like nobody has. My dad has his Ford in the dealership. It was like 2 weeks to get a fucking like exhaust part or some shit. I was like, what is going on? They're lying to us.
Well, I just got this emergency brake thing done on the Don will tell you about this is how long it's been going. When Don and I first sat down to do a brainstorming, this was a long time ago. I met her like at a coffee shop by y'all side of town.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to reverse and park, and she was like, "What the fuck is she doing?" I couldn't brake.
Oh my god!
Like I was like all the way down, and I was like, "I'm gonna go through this fucking restaurant right now." Like it's not stopping. So you know how the newer cars now have a sensor and it'll automatically stop for you? Like it tries to automatically press
Brake?
the
Yeah.
brake on you. I hate that thing because it scares the shit out of me sometimes if it just feels
Senses
like something.
yeah.
Like it'll go, like the steering wheel will start to vibrate.
Yeah,
and then
I turn that shit off.
oh my God, I don't even know how to do that, Rob. I just discovered that I can flip the music from the back of my steering wheel. Okay?
I remember that.
I still don't know how to work it. I also don't know how to work the TVs that are in the car.
Dude, what are you gonna do with a minivan? It's got more tech in that minivan. Than,
I have no idea.
There's vacuums.
So
in there.
I don't know how to use the TV. So we've never used the TVs in the Tahoe. I don't know how to use them. First of all, I couldn't find the DVD player for the longest, and then I finally one day accidentally pressed a button and realized that it goes down, and then the DVD player's right there, and then you pull it back up, and it's playing a movie.
Bro. We could just have a day.
It has remote controls on there, so that the kids, if they wanted to play like a console on there. The remote controls, Penny plays with them, so I have no idea where those are. So hopefully we never have to trade this car in because
Well,
I don't know where
obviously we're gonna.
I don't know where the remotes are. I'm bad. I'm telling you, when I tell you I've never cared for vehicles, Like I don't find zero, like, except for it getting me from point A to point B, I don't care for them. Like if you told me
Makes me upset.
about like your house. Well, did you know that? Yeah, actually, if you go, I can tell you like that to me is like super duper important, but vehicles are not. Like I just have never really cared for, and it's crazy because my mom is into them.
Yeah.
My mom's always driven sports cars. My mom drives a brand new Chevy something, like a truck.
It's a Sierra.
It's a Sierra.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is.
It's like the 4TX version, I think, or ATX or A4. I forgot what it is.
Listen, sure, whatever. I don't even know. It's nice. I mean,
Super nice.
It's super nice inside. It's fully loaded and everything. It's got like you put your phone down and it charges by itself.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I didn't even know my car has that too.
Do you use Apple CarPlay in your car?
Apple CarPlay.
Where it mirrors your phone on your dash? So,
I don't do that. I just do the Bluetooth. But it does have Apple Play thing, and I don't know how to do it.
Bro, that is a game changer for modern cars. Apple CarPlay.
I have no idea how to do it. I'm not. Maybe you can show me how. Well, listen, I didn't know.
Visually upset.
There on the console that you open like this, there's a thing there like that, and I was just like, that's such a random dent. Like, why would they?
For the wireless charging?
I didn't know that's what it was for, Rob.
What? Oh, God. What are we doing? Would you rather just live in a world where all you had were fucking Kia Rios with the fucking hand crank windows?
Do you know why I realized that? Is because Tahoe's a Chevy, right?
Yeah.
So my mom's truck is a Chevy.
Correct.
So when I was in her vehicle, I was like, oh, well, her console looks like my console. That's interesting. And that's how you charge. Wait, so is that a charging dock for me? But the problem is that I have a way too new of a iPhone, so it doesn't fit my iPhone. It's
'cause you have the Max?
I have the Max,
too
so it
big.
has whatever the smaller one is. That's what charges it because Mickey's phone works, but mine doesn't. So first of all, I didn't even know it had that. So had I not been in my mom's vehicle, my mom has two. There's one in the front and one on the console thing.
Yes.
So they have two of them. So had I not been in that car, I was like, oh, that's what that's for. So that's one. Two, I just told you, I used to be so mad because I'm like, how is my Honda way older than this? And I can control everything from the steering wheel. And I was like, I wonder what all these buttons on the back of the steering wheel is for. So I just decided to press it one day at a stoplight and it changed the song. I was like,
This dude,
What?
this reminds me of all the memes that people send me, old buddies, where it's just like you said, you felt like you were going to drive through the restaurant because you couldn't brake. Honestly, that was a car's fault. It wasn't your fault. But it would just be like a meme or a girl saying something like, oh my God, guys, I figured out like how to change, and then it's just like women and it's like drinking coffee. It's just like women. It's just random shit. But you're like, how do you not know
But
that?
you know what's funny is that I know when there's always something wrong with the cars because I've always had to take care of myself.
You are handy in that sense. Yeah.
And so I know when there's something wrong, like Pete will drive and I'm like, you don't, and he's like, what? I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. So I knew there was something wrong with the Tahoe when that happened, right? So I kept getting the brakes checked. No one found nothing wrong with the brakes, right? So now it's Pete's friend who checks it, runs it through the machine, still says there's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, but why would the light come on and said, check brake assistance, which is that little sensor, I guess, that tells it to brake on its own when there's some shit about to happen, right? So I was like, okay, whatever. My mom borrows the Tahoe, right? And she's like, do you know there's, I was like, yep, but everybody I take it to says no. I had not taken it to my mechanic though. We'd taken it everywhere else, even to the dealership, by the way, where we bought it. Just letting you know. I go get an oil change yesterday and he goes, hey, so I drove your car. I was like, oh my God, finally, I'm not fucking crazy. I've told, I don't know how many people, and everybody keeps saying, nope, nothing pops up. Nope, I don't know. That's weird. It's probably a sensor that needs to be reset, which they reset it one time, by the way.
Not correctly.
He's like, no. So basically, that emergency thing is pretty much worn out. It needs to be replaced. So had I really been needing that, I would have gone straight through the door, through the store.
Women.
And I said, I said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I have you check it? He's like, no. And so my brain was going crazy to think who was the last person to check it. And it was Pete's friend. And I said, I knew it. I was like, I know I'm not crazy. I was like, man, but I know when there's something wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's good.
All the time. And I think that just comes from also men, when they see women, they know they're going to be able to fuck you. So what I would always do, I think I told you the story, I would always go to YouTube first and like literally put like clink, clink, clink sound in car. I swear that's what I would put.
Clink.
And then I I'm just giving you that as an example.
Yeah.
And it would prop up videos and then, and so that's how I would know. So then when I would go in to go get it checked, and they'd be like, well, I'm like, really? Well, that's odd because I really think that it's blah, blah, blah. And so they'd be like, oh. And then it'd be like, they'd look at me like, damn, how does this little bitch know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You have listeners right now, I'm sure that they're driving their cars and they're probably like, man, the same thing happened to me. Like they took advantage of me. Like so many women have those stories where it's just like, I know it's
and
because
it happens
I'm
a lot
woman.
because you go by yourself.
Yeah.
And so when you go by yourself, it's kind of like,
That's why I need you a good man around.
But even when I go to my mechanic, Cruz calls me. He doesn't call him. Of course he does. He'll be like, hey, so I'm like, okay, so what am I, because I'll be like, what are my options? He'll tell me, I'm like, oh, how much longer can I go without, you know what I'm saying? Da, 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 or whatever the case is. And then he'll tell me, I'm like, all right, cool. So let's fix this part. And then, I'll come do this or whatever it is, but I've always because when your dad passes away kind of young, you know what I'm saying? You have to kind of figure it out on your own. And you take it, you take for granted that there's someone that actually does, because if anything happened, like when my alternator went out on my Firebird.
Yeah.
My dad, when that happened, all the lights started dimming down, and I was able to exit, and I got to the gas station. I just literally made it to this gas station. And so when my dad came to help me, he would explain what happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, so the next time it happened, I knew it'd be like, no, it's this or it's that. And I know, Dad, I think it's this. Because I think if for anything, it might have helped him figure out what like tool maybe he needed to bring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because he'd be like, well, what exactly? And I tell him, I'm like, well, no, it's not the alternator. I think whatever. So it's crazy, right? That you know that. But anyway, why did we start talking about minivans? Because you need a for your pop-up. Sorry, guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, who gives a fuck about cars? I know. I feel you on it.
They love. It's like they're sitting at a coffee shop listening to friends talk.
I know it is,
and that's why these conversations are great. That's a cute cup.
It is.
No homo.
I'm having a cortado today.
Oh, I thought that was a coffee cup from your house. It's like literally your colors: the teal from the fucking the sweatshirt, and then the pink.
No, it's those are very cute colors to do something with.
Right?
Very springy. Not a bad idea.
Springy.
Yeah.
Just combine the two. What was the two one? The Tiff & Co. looking one?
Tough & Co.
Tough &
yeah.
Co. And then your pink, yeah.
So anyways, going back to this, it was really great. It was great meeting a lot of people, a lot of amazing vendors. I am going to have, what's her name? I bought products from her. That's awful. Madre Mia, I think is what the name of her brand is. One sec. And
hey, while Soul's looking that up, everybody, if you're not a part of the Patreon, not a part of the Discord yet, go ahead and sign up at patreon.com/HERR Lounge Podcast to get bonus content and access to the community, which is growing. And I think just broke a little over 40, maybe 40-ish. But either way, it's a fun place. You get extra content. You get Friday episodes. You get merch discounts, I believe, in the Discord or in the Patreon, both. And it's a great place. It's a great community. It's very nice. There's lots of nice people in there. It's a great community growing every day.
Okay, let's see.
This is somebody from the pop-up?
Yes. Because I bought some of her bath scrubs and they were really good. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here it is. They are called Profile. It is Madre Mia Belleza. So
Okay.
I was right. So it's called Madre Mia Belleza. I want to have her on because it's very interesting. So she's a listener of the podcast. So shout out to her also. So it's funny because we had this conversation. So she creates products specifically for Hispanic women.
Okay.
Meaning, I think I told this story whenever I was pregnant, there were some numbers that came back a little bit high. And my midwife said that this is based on Caucasian women, not based on Hispanic and Black women. So Hispanic and Black women, are basically categorized under white women numbers. White, because that's, I guess, even whenever, just so y'all know, guys, these are my biker shorts that I'm wearing before. If you see it on camera, is that her faja? It is not. I didn't feel like taking my biker shorts off when I was changing to come to the podcast because I was in the back working. All right. So anyway, so it was very interesting for her because she decided to make supplements specifically for Hispanic women with what issues that we go through versus a white woman or a Black woman, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like, you took the time. So she has supplements that she's trying to push right now that she just released. But she also has like scrubs, and I used it in the shower the other day, and it felt really good. So those were really good. And then her like lotion, her butter balm or whatever, that was really good too. So let's see. And then, gosh, I don't remember. But she's got 5 kids. She is an entrepreneur. She's a photographer as well. I mean, so really her story. I was like, I need to have you on my podcast, girl. I was like, this is pretty cool. You're like somebody who, a mom of 5, doing her thing. And so anyway, I met a lot of cool women there that, were doing their thing. And, I just really like those markets because I always like to see what other people are doing that's different from, because even though, like I've always said this, even though you may sell the same product, you may find something that no one else is doing, right? Like, I don't know what the example is, but I will use the candles that you guys made for me, right? Instantly, everybody liked the mango coconut one. So that was the one. But I also had that one with the lid open. So I don't know if it was like as they were coming by, they were like looking for the smell, but I just did it so that people could see the flowers that we decided to put, the dried flowers that we decided to put in there. And
they look great.
They look super cute. And so anyway, long story short, people were really into that. And I told Dawn, I said, it was so funny because guys were actually buying it too. And I was just kind of like, is this for him or is this like a gift for
Valentine's
Day or whatever? But he was like, one girl was like, hey, I really would like to buy more than one of these candles. And I said, yeah, I'm not shipping candles. So I don't know that I want to do that. That's really hard. I don't.
You don't want to. Yeah.
I think that's really hard. I would rather personally that be an item that I have at pop-ups, right? And then I have a question for you guys also.
Okay.
In the summertime, have you ever done a pop-up in the summertime with candles?
No.
That's what I'm afraid of because we get so hot. And I don't know that I'll ever do an outdoor pop-up in the summertime because I have done one and I about died. No, literally, I about died. And I was pregnant and Pete was just not a good survivor, like at all. And I was so pregnant.
Oh, I remember. Wasn't that at the breakdance? At the
vintage, yeah.
Yeah, vintage.
I was so pregnant. And the poor girl was like so scared for me. She was like, are you going to have a baby? And I was like, nope. I was like, I'm not. I'm like, trust me. I am super mobile, but I get it. You see a big old pregnant woman still lifting a box or, still doing this. You get afraid like, oh my God, that baby's going to come out.
Girl, I was deadlifting this morning.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no, I'm good. Trust me. But she was worried because it was so hot and I was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Which is a lot for a pregnant person.
Yeah, for sure. I would say you'd be able to just have a cooler, and because when we ship during the summer, that you have to seasonally too. Like if you're ever shipping stuff like that where it's temperature sensitive, we'd have to wrap it in it's like what do you call it? It's like insulated bubble wrap, and then put cooling packs in there as well. So it adds to your cost. Like you always want to try to avoid adding more to your shipping cost because the shipping itself is so expensive. So keep that in mind. But if you're at a pop up, keep them in a cooler insulated bag and just kind of have one or two of each sent out. That way, people can smell it. And then you can always switch if you feel like, oh, I don't think it would melt. If you have, especially if you have a canopy, even though it's hot outside, it's only direct sunlight on the candles.
Got it.
But
that's what I was worried about. I was like, I wonder if these fuckers would melt out here because it's so hot in Houston.
But it'd have to be.
But again, I really don't know that I would do. I'm doing them right now because it's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And
we got about one more month.
Exactly. So I'm doing one on Friday, which is indoor, and then one on Saturday that's outdoors. So the one on Friday, I'm not even going to tell you guys about because the event is sold out. So they sold tickets to that one. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm not, and it's sponsored by HEB. So I'm really curious to see how this event is going to be. So I'm excited about that and what it even is. I'm not really even sure what it is, to be honest with you. So I thought that was cool. Then Saturday, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. So the Goddard School. Okay. So the Goddard School in the Heights is having their annual, this was actually a makeup from bad weather, but I guess a lot of the vendors that maybe had signed up for it didn't come back for this makeup one. So they reached out to me and I said, sure, I'll do it. So I'll be doing that. And it's short. It's from 10 to 12.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I can do 10 to 12. So that was not a problem. So I'll be there. So guys, if you're in the Heights area, come by. I'll be there. The candles that I'm talking about will be there. Don, just re-up me. That's how many we sold. So
that's
just so
awesome.
you know. I think I have 7 left.
Bruh.
So yeah.
Cool.
So the melts were selling at first and not the candles. And then when I decided to open up a candle, it switched. So I have enough wax melts, but I didn't have enough.
So
isn't that weird?
Do you have a favorite, one or the other, like for your own house? Like, are you gonna light a candle or?
Mine is also the mango coconut.
But I'm saying like the products. Like, if you're gonna light, are you gonna light a candle? If you can only choose one, are you gonna light a candle in your house? Or are you gonna melt melts?
I burn both at the same time.
Do you really? Wow! Holy shit!
I like my house.
That
Like,
smells
I like
fantastic.
when
People
someone
come
comes
over?
in.
Yeah.
Because when you burn them both at the same time and then it's time to turn it off, right? Then it's
it lingers forever.
Exactly?
Yeah.
So people will come in, and I don't need to have it on every day. And I'm one of those. Oh, and then it's funny. My aunt Maribel, so she comes over because she's helping my sister get a house, and she comes over and she's like, "What the fuck is that smell?" And I was like, "It's my new candles. I kept telling you about them." I'm like, "I gifted you a cafecito time one. It's the same person who's making those makes these for me." I said, "So I told you that." I said, "I gifted it to everyone." She's like, "I know, but I'm not burning my candle." I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "I don't know. I don't want to waste it."
She's like my mom. My mom doesn't. She just like leaves it open in
That's
the
what she
room.
does.
Like, you can't smell it the same. You'd have to.
She's like, "I don't want to do that."
Funny.
I was like,
Bruh.
okay. I said, well, then take them out, because I gave her some of the samples Dawn made me. I said, so here, take this, the wax melt. She's like, I know, but the candle's so pretty. I'm like, it still burns the same look. You can see the pretty dried flowers in the burner.
Yeah.
So, you know.
This sounds so homo, but as a business, I love making candles. So like Dawn is guilty. She does most of the work now, right now. But because usually at night, like she'll start doing that. We'll start doing that together because you have to prep the containers and there's a lot of prep that goes into it before you make it. And then once it's all melted and made and mixed, because those scents, like you have custom scents. Like we made those scents for you. Like you wanted those scents. So you have to practice. You have to like mix stuff until you get the right one that you want, and then you make those. And so it's a whole process. So she's been doing more of that now, but the candle making, there's something therapeutic about it.
I can see that.
You know, like you make it, the house smells fantastic. You make different batches. We try not to mix too many scents in a night. We might do like 2 or 3 at most because it's the whole house smells great, but it's like, how many scents can you mix before you're like, oh my God. Luckily, we've never had an issue. Sometimes up to like 4 or 5 scents we'll make in a night. And it's therapeutic. Like it smells
do the
good.
smells start to blend?
They do after a while.
Yeah.
So we have like coffee beans around if we need to like what's what. Did we forget to label a part of the counter or whatever, or of where we, mix everything. And it's just like most things, like you make it and the process of making it and then it's done and it's like, it's therapeutic, the whole thing. And then you get to burn it the next day. It's just like, I don't know. The business of it is awesome. There's just a lot. It's time intensive too.
No, I can see that because, like I said, it, I don't know. Like when I opened them, I was very proud of them. If that makes sense.
Actually, I was too, because we went not the easy route, but the simple route of like, to us, it was like, okay, it's white wax, it's clean, it's got a clean look, right? The containers are just like black. We went for the black and gold vibe, but as we saw yours with stuff in it, Dawn was like, damn, this looks good. Like mixing the flowers in there and giving it a whole different look. Yeah,
it looks really pretty in there, and it just gives it a whole different
vibe. It's just a different vibe.
And it also makes you feel like the flowers smell like that.
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I just kind of feel like they were just a great seller. They really were. So they did fantastic. My crew necks were fantastic. They sold very fast. And then, of course, the girl stuff sold out. So I had these shelves with the girls' backpacks on them. So it was my new little panels that I got made. Those sold out. So it looked weird. So then I was trying to find things to freaking put on there, And then my chingona cups that changed color. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was so cold in the morning. They were stained pink without me having to put anything to display that they changed color. And as the temperature started getting like warmer, they started going to their color. But those were also big sellers as well. So, that was it. It was a great weekend. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very tired the next day. I was exhausted. And, but I love that I was with my kids all day. My phone got lost in the laundry.
Bro, how funny.
Dawn texted me but I kept pinging my phone. That's couldn't
what she
find
told me.
it.
I was like, how did she not find it?
I guess it was like it must have fallen in like the bottom of, does that make sense? Like
of the basket?
Of the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept pinging it and I was just like, bro, is this for real? And then I thought that I left it at the restaurant, but then I remember like, wait, I didn't even take it to so I had been missing it since I went to the restaurant with my mom and didn't realize it. Because to me, like, I'm with my mom. So she's I'm with my mom and my sister. Those are two people that would need me or text me, right? For sure. And then if Pete couldn't get a hold of me, he probably would reach out next to my sister or my mom. Like, hey, where's your sister? And then they'd say, oh, she's right here. So maybe that's why I didn't pay attention that the phone was missing. Well, yeah, now I was like, hey, I need to start working on my damn schedule. And it was like, where's my phone? I couldn't find it. So I have an old phone that's connected in the Wi-Fi that Penny uses. Yeah. And that's what I was using. I text Pete. I was like, hey, so I don't know where my phone is. In case you're looking for me, you're going to have to text Penny's phone because I don't know where it is. So
Mommy, it's Papi.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where it is. Anyway, there was something I was going to tell you about these markets.
The sold out one or the previous one? Or just markets in general?
Just in general. Oh, what the cool thing is that you see different people setting up and how different people set up. And then like their vision of their product and so forth. And then it's really cool because a lot of the women that go, they're the makers. And so I really think it's cool to hear different people's stories, right? I'll be honest with you, I never really walk around. I just don't. I don't really have the time. And I'm not saying like my store is just like popping to where I can't leave, but it is.
But it sounds like it is.
But it is. So I really can't ever leave. And that's the only thing that sucks. And I'm a control freak. So sometimes if I leave to go to the restroom, it's like I'm telling my sister like, okay, this is how you do this. And this is how you do that. And she's like, oh my God, like I got it. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, like, and so it's like, I like even have a hard time going to the restroom because I'm afraid like.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why it's good to have your sister there or somebody, right? In case you got to like run. Like Dawn and I always had to do like, all right, tag, you're in, like go pee or go do whatever. And then she'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go pee. And then she comes back like 30 minutes later. She's like, yeah, I decided to walk around. I was like, what the fuck? I've been waiting for you to come back. What are you doing?
My sister went and got coffee. And I was like, well, damn, how long is this coffee line? You know? She comes back with bags. No coffee.
In bags.
No, nothing.
At all. Oh,
I said,
you didn't even get anything?
Where were you? And I was swamped. Like swamped.
Yeah.
And so I literally, I keep a basket of like the bags and what I'm going to put in there. I give like I have a sticker packet thing, but if you buy something, I give it to people for free. Right. And so anyway, she comes back and I said, where's the coffee? She goes, the line was so long. I said, what were you doing this whole time? She was like, I was in the line. I said, bro, for 45 minutes. She goes, her friend came. She goes, I left my friend at the line. He's still in line.
Oh my God.
I was like, when it was funny because I was turned around like this, getting a bag ready. And I literally told myself, just take a deep breath. They're going to wait. Like if they don't want to wait, then it wasn't your customer.
Sure.
I had to tell myself that because that's how bombarded I was while she was gone.
Pretty cool.
And so I was like, I ran out of bags.
I hate that. You always think you're prepared.
Embarrassing thing. Like the most embarrassing thing that can happen is not having bags and not having bags for your jewelry.
You got to hope that they already have something. They already bought something. So you can be like, can I just add it to your bag?
Do you know what I have to do? What I had to do?
What?
Oh, on top of that.
Wrap it in the clothing?
I have tissue paper that I always kind of I wrap stuff in. I guess because it was folded, it looked like it was a lot of pink tissue paper. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't need to dig in my box to get more pink, you know. I always have the basket ready. Mm-hmm. I don't like if you guys... Well, I guess you don't do enough markets, but I have a basket with bags. My what do you call it? My little card that says thank you. If I'm going to give away a sticker, everything is there in this basket, and it's just to make things easy. You grab, and go, whatever. So I look and I said, "Damn, sister, I think my bags must have fallen in your car. Can you go check?" This is when we were first setting up. She goes, "All right." So she goes to go check. She comes back. She's like, there's nothing in my car. I was like, are you kidding me? I said, I have no jewelry bags. There was 4, Rob. I have no jewelry bags. I said, my tissue paper's done. I said, and where are the rest of my bags? She goes, I don't know. I was like, and I'm like breaking my head trying to figure out, did the last pop-up I did I? Well, damn, I don't remember I sold them. Like, it was crazy. My sister, because she's in the process of buying a house, okay, she happened to have shit that she was going to take to her storage unit, which was a bag full of Christmas tissue paper, birthday tissue paper, plain colored tissue paper. And she said, dog, I have tissue paper in the back of my 4Runner. Do you need me to go get it? I said, go get it. So now I'm wrapping jewelry in gold paper, and it was so embarrassing. And I used to do the stickers. I used to give them in these little plastic baggies because it's like, I'm not giving you my luxury bag. Like, my shopping bags, they're expensive. They're $1.25 a piece for the small ones and $2 for the big ones. The medium ones are $0.01. I mean, these bags are expensive. You know what I'm saying? And it's and I started off with cheaper bags at first, but then I looked and I was like, that doesn't look very cute, Marisol. You should probably invest in some cuter bags. So that's what I did. I invested in some cuter bags. So anyway, so I did. I don't know why I thought to bring those other little plasticky ones. And I said, well, I'll bring the little plasticky ones just in case. I don't think I'll need them, but maybe we'll need them for something.
How many more do you think you're going to do before you like hang it up for a little bit when the weather gets too hot? Like, I think April, it's not that hot still. Then I'm done if they're not indoor after April, because there'll be spring ones. Of course, yeah.
Which those are still always good. And we're still not that hot during spring break, so I'm still good with doing them then. But yeah, in the summer, if they're not indoor, I can't do them. I'm not putting myself through that. I'm just not. They're awful. Rob, we were hurting the next day.
No, I remember. Your husband was for sure to let me know how miserable he was.
He was super miserable, right?
We got some questions from the Discord, but we'll kick it off. We'll save it for the private episode or for Friday, and then I guess what else? What can people buy right now?
Guys,
where can they go?
Well, there's everything. There's a bunch of new stuff. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but my online sales have been. But I mean, I keep posting. I keep showing you guys what's new. I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing a good job of showing them myself. I mean, I love can you see my shoes, Rob, on the camera?
No, they can't.
You can't. Okay, let me take it off real quick. How cute are these fucking shoes?
Oh, those are cool.
Aren't these fabulous? And they're online. I think online they don't look this neon pink, bro. And I just got this freaking amazing, huge, cute neon bag to match them. Fabulous. I swear to you, it was really... Okay, first of all, I only ordered 2 bags. Because they were that expensive.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I really wanted to keep them for myself. And at first I was like, I told Pete, I was like, well, what if I only sell 1 bag at the store? And I was like, and I keep the other one for me. He was like, okay, well, I mean, I guess you do have to advertise it yourself. I said, exactly. So shouldn't I keep it? He was like, okay. But you know what? Real quick, guys, before I let you guys go, because again, I know I can get into like speaking about business and really get into it and like the marketing part of it.
Friday.
Yes. These people that I order these bags from, they're out of LA. Genius marketing. Because they're known for more of like more of a work bag, more of a travel bag. These are not purses. The backpack is fabulous. I mean, what I mean by that, it's if you are somebody like me that carries your laptop, carries your iPad, carries like 3 fucking different journals, your planner and your pencil pouch, because I do carry one.
I love pouches.
I love pouches.
I just ordered 2 last night on Amazon.
That's hilarious.
I love tech pouches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I love pens and like stationery. I need to have my own stationery line. Like I really need to create it.
You should.
I do, because I love stationery. You have no idea.
It should be a pouch. It should be like a tech pouch where like my studio day, like what's in my tech pouch / pencil makeup pouch on studio days.
Yeah, I use my Mom Wife Hustler little canvas bag.
That one's cool. I like the way it looks, but I think it's too small. I feel like you carry more.
I have two sizes. I have the baby one and the big one. Nice. So, but my point to that is I really wanted to keep the backpack for myself. And I said, if the backpack sells, then you buy yourself one.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell, then you better sell it before you can buy yourself. That's going to be my reward if I sell it.
Backpacks too. I love backpacks.
I love backpacks too. Same. And I was thinking to myself, I just got one monogrammed, like one when I went to Round Top last year. Mm-hmm. And that's what I use as my work bag. And so I said to myself, you don't really need this. Like, you should sell it because that's what you bought it for. But I love the color and it matches so good. I'm going to go put it up at the store today. I am going to put it online. So if the store buys it first or online buys it first, I don't know who's going to buy it first. But it's huge. I mean, you can really carry a lot of stuff in it, and I love it. Anyway, my point to that is their packaging is amazing. When you get it delivered, bro, because they're known for travel. These are like big bags.
Hell yeah.
The top part, the handle, you know, the sticker that you have to put on when you travel, the sticker that identifies that this is your bag and stuff. That's their branding.
Oh,
so it
that's
has
cool.
like this,
Clever.
and it has their name. It has the name of the bag.
It's the little things, man.
And if you don't pay attention to that when you go, I pay attention to all that. You know, when you get in this business, you pay attention to packaging a lot. I still feel like that's one thing I haven't done perfectly yet.
That takes time.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out yet. But
good packaging is expensive.
Yes, good packaging is very expensive.
And
because I still buy pink boxes and just put my sticker on it.
Which is also, even that, and upgrading a colored box is not inexpensive.
Pink boxes are very expensive.
Yeah. I will say also, Manscaped has great packaging. Ladies, Valentine's Day is around the corner.
And promo code
Chingo for 20% off and free shipping. I have to throw it in there, even though they're not technically.
Balls for your man.
Dude, the video we were just writing when you were in the restaurant, when you were changing in there, it's going to be, Manscaped's going to hit us back up and say, that Yehuva video, it's the best video we've ever seen. I swear. It's so silly.
Boy, business is interesting, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I like anything more than podcasting, but business is tied with it. Like understanding the landscape of business, you know, and you've also done a service and a product, and just comparing the two and trying to navigate those waters.
Which you think selling a service is harder than selling a product, right?
I do, for sure. Yeah, I would 100%. Like when you're talking about the markets, like what I did do, and I know we're about to move into Friday's episode, but like when I had the cryotherapy facility, the job was like we'd set up at the Skeeter Stadium, which is now called the Space Cowboys. It's the Astros like farm league out there in Sugar Land at the baseball park. So we had a little partnership with them where we'd set up our table and stuff, and we'd have to talk to baseball fans about the service. It went perfect together. The team, you know,
for sure.
The team would come into, and they were part of our little program for a little while, which was great. But if it's if it's a product, you just put the product in their hand and like, check this out, you're going to love it, right? And they start playing with it. Or maybe you describe something whether it's an article of clothing, a bag, a backpack, doesn't matter, a fidget spinner, a service. You got to educate every person that walks up, you got to educate them on the service from beginning to end and convince them of why they should come try their service, right? And it's just one of the hardest things, you know? And it helps if you're a natural talker or salesman, I guess, which wasn't that hard for me to do, but it's still convincing people of coming into a place to have a service performed on them. Sure. So hard.
For sure.
So I like products because you can scale products too, like to a degree, much faster than a service.
Yeah, because when I my interpreting agency, the interpreting part was hard because there's already 2 established interpreting agencies in Houston, they've been around for years. We're talking about years, since probably interpreting was kind of a thing, you know, before it was your friend was doing it for you. Right. Does that make sense? So that part of my business was hard, but getting the clients wasn't because I had the contract with the state of Texas. It was going to sell these clients of mine to employers. That was difficult because we're talking about someone who's deaf. So now I have to find them a job. But not only am I having to find them a job, I also have to let you know that they're deaf. And then it becomes kind of like, what? I don't know. I've never worked, you know. So then it's like me explaining that. And so, and I used to hate saying well, there's an incentive of hiring someone that's deaf. You get a tax cut. I would use that as literally as if I felt like they're not budging, right? Like, that would be the last thing I would say. Because I used to feel like they're not handicapped, you know? So
Yeah.
for me, it was more of an insult by doing that. But I knew that these guys could do the job. Like this one guy that did, he welded pieces for like oil rigs, was amazing at it because he's so focused, because he's not listening or chit-chatting with anybody else. So his measurements were insane. It's these knobs, that these little screws that they use on the rigs and when they build them and stuff. And so I've done some really cool jobs, like with my clients
That's
that
awesome.
get trained. And so I've been an interpreter for a deaf therapist through art. So she's a art therapist, I guess, right? For children, and she's deaf. So I would go with her to her job. And it was the coolest thing ever. And their trainings that she had to go to for children were amazing. I learned so much. Yeah, it was probably the coolest. I can go work in a lot of places because I learned so much from being their interpreter / job coach. It was really cool. I'm not going to lie.
I won a kickball tournament at that stadium I talked about.
Oh, yeah? There you go.
That's the coolest shit I can talk about.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're not a part of our Patreon yet, come on over, join us, HERR Lounge Podcast. Patreon / HERR Lounge Podcast. Come be a part of her world, join our team. And you get the next episode. So thank you guys for listening. See y'all next week.